Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, yes, indeed. Here we go. Oh my God! Please, Pikachu, control the crowd, please. Control that crowd. Thank you very much, Pikachu. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my executive producer, Pikachu. Fix that shit. Oh, geez. Oh no, I dropped a vulgarity in the first 5 minutes. Oh boy, whatever shall happen to our stream. Welcome to the Super Sully Sunday stream. It's a Labor Day Monday weekend extravaganza special. To be honest, I was sick yesterday. I was really ill. Did it to myself. And you know how I do a gratitude list in the morning, and I'm always talking about sobriety, and it's ups and downs, it's peaks and valleys, it's wins and losses, and that's the road I'm on. Well, let me tell you, I had suffered a big L on Saturday, and well, what did happen? I drank too much beer, and what happens to your friend Eric here? He's an alcoholic. I know that, and I'm okay with that. Hello, my name is Eric, and I'm an alcoholic. I am. I have genetically predisposed on both sides of my family, and it's how do I know I'm an alcoholic? It's because when I start drinking, I don't want to stop until the beer is all gone, and I want to glug, 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 you know what I mean? So, you know, yep, and the show is now complete and replete with sound effects. StreamYard has sound effects. It's really cool. And so I drank too much on Saturday night. I was on Bandito Bane's Geek Talking Geek, guzzing it up with John's Long Box and Bakazashi's Tea House, and talking comics with friends, and had a great show on Saturday morning with Wes and the Comics Aficionados Thinking Critical crew. So, you know, and so what I suffer from after drinking isn't a hangover. It wasn't a hangover. It's not, you know, slight headaches and slight, you know, discomfort is one thing, but it's more of a body crash. And I think it has something to do with getting older and getting, you know, worrying about things like hypoglycemic crashes, you know, and having to develop a plan to maybe go to my doctor, get some blood work done, and to own up to whatever is developing in my life. And I'll be okay overall, but the depleted state of my body, it leads to panic attacks. What did I do all day? I laid in bed all day yesterday, basically. And I got a slight victory out of it because I did not have to take my heavy-duty panic pill, my lorazepam. If I'm grabbing for that, that means it's bad, because that's the one thing that just, you know, smooths me out. Makes me a little distant, but I'm okay with that. It's a good payoff. So that's my story. That's why there was no show yesterday. I was gonna, you know, try and do it, but I just didn't have it. You know, there was no wick in my stick. There was no lead in my pencil. There was no gas in the car. You know, and I'm sorry. And I just have to do better for myself and my health. It's a choice. You got to keep walking past the liquor store, kid. You got to, like, resist the urge to buy beer and keep beer in the house. And I drank enough in my life. I really have been there, done that. I know what it's like to be drunk. I know what it's like to drink. You know, I'm also fighting. You know, I'm overweight. I'm technically obese, I guess. I put on all that weight that I lost over lockdown, and that's that. So I have to, you know, hey, onward and upward. That's what we got to. That's what I got to do. And this is a special Monday morning edition of the Super Sully Sunday stream. It's Labor Day. Got the day off, and it's a paid day off. Looking forward to that. Let's see. How many comics did we read this week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 Marvel books. Actually, 23 Marvel books. And I think I read 29, maybe 30 comics just this week. Yeah, it's a lot. Sometimes, like, when I eat something, I get, like, a buddy of mine who has diabetes was like, you sound like you're what's the word he used? It was a gerund. It's not bouncing, it's not purging. I forget what it was, but he was like, your heart seems to feel like it's racing. You feel an intense fatigue, like all you want to do is nap. A touch of nausea, and he's like, "Yeah, that's like dumping. All that. Your blood sugar is completely spiked." And like this happened at work, and I had a snack. I made myself a nice roast beef sandwich on a nice, large sourdough bread. So 2 pieces of sourdough bread. 2 slices of American cheese, mayonnaise, and roast beef, and that's what happened to me after eating this sandwich. So I'm like, oh man, I got smacked with something, and it wasn't the first time. So buttons. So that's just getting older. I'm getting older. Look at me. I chose to dress today as an aging hipster. That's right. Where's your usual hat, Sully? It's over there. But that's okay. This is my Star Wars Theory Order 66 hat that I bought from Star Wars Theory himself at the Boston Fan Expo. My buddies Thomas Gilkey and Brian got their Order 66 hats as well. I chose for the more patriotic American look. That's nice because he's Canadian. Oh boy. Let's see how long I got in me too, because I'm still not feeling that well. Seriously, the night I like drinking like that. I have to like make it takes a day away from me, and sometimes a day and a half. I'm still kind of feeling it. I just ate breakfast, so now I'm like, am I going to experience the same thing? I had a sausage, egg, and cheese on a hamburger roll, and I'm like, is the hamburger roll doing it? You know what I mean? Because there's so much high fructose corn syrup or sugar in everything, especially all those carbs. And because carbohydrates are simple sugars. And it's like, this is kind of scary. And like, I don't have a wife. I don't have a girlfriend. I have to go through this alone. And I know I have family. I'm blessed with family and friends, and especially everyone out there. And I appreciate any of the good wishes that I start to, that I usually get, but, it's just like, I mean, I don't have someone with me to be like, hey, listen, you know what I mean? Like, I have to do it myself, Oh, well, so buttons. But guess what? I got a sack of funny books and a story, too. I got blocked by Richard C. Meyer, a.k.a. Boy Zach, at his channel, Comics. Meyer is a noted comics gamer. He was one of the first people called Comicsgate. He drew the ire of big publishing because of his pointing out of the rigged system, about the encroachment of feminism, about the badness of comics. And now he's done like kind of like this 180. I have a theory. It's like he's suffering from the Howard Stern syndrome. Like, we talk backstage at the shows and shit, so everyone's like in the know about it. And I'm not going to go on record saying what I know. Because that could be, slander, and just or misinformation. I don't really know. Let's see, share screen. Comics Ladder. That's Comics Matter. It's our boy Zach. Yeah, boy Zach. That's his internet handle, and His name is Richard C. Meyer. He's a who is Richard C. Meyer? He's kind of just a guy, a comic book fan. He claims to be a lifelong comic book fan, and usually makes pretty decent but costly content. And so that's his kayfabe. That's his work. He's a worker, and his job is he's a heel. And his current thing is going after Neon of Clownfish TV, of Wes from Thinking Critical, two people that were formerly mutuals, friendlies, and friends, online friends with them. Gary, Neurotic, the Critical Drinker, and rightfully so, as of heel versus babyface. Ryan Kinnell, and that covers a spectrum between, and he calls it far right-wing conservatives, and because he's been pushing back on liberals and progressives and feminists for so long. And this is the guy that loves to punch down on Heather Antos. Heather Antos is an editor. She was working at Marvel Comics at the time. She drew Richard's attention. Richard called her, is it 10 minutes? Okay, we're clear. I can swear. Richard called her a cum dumpster, and she really, really, really didn't like that. But Richard's a military guy. He did a tour in the Army and a tour in the Marines, and served our country overseas during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. So he's got a dirty mouth. Army people talk like that, Richard also likes to punch down on like T. Franklin, who is a disabled woman of color, who's just a wackadoo, who kind of documents her life on TikTok and shit, and says the weirdest things. And she was hired to write comic books for a certain amount of time. There was Vita Ayala, who is an autistic woman of color, or I think she's non-binary. I think they are non-binary. Don't worry. People like me will die off, and you can have the whole pronoun thing if it sticks. I just can't keep up with it. And then just like Teenie Howard, Stephanie Phillips, and or the Stephanies. There's two Stephanies out there, like the girls of comics that don't write very good comics in a way. So he's like used to punching down on women. So now he's punching across and up at men, which is good for him. But one thing, is he's always talking about Wes now. Is Wes? He's got lockjaw, and he's biting down on Wes of Thinking Critical. My friend Wes, who for the past 3 years has had me on his Saturday show, Comics Aficionados. I've met Wes in person, so Wes is my friend, and so I'm not white knighting for him. I'm just, it's more of like, wow, where did this come from? But this is what I'm saying about the Howard Stern thing. He's got Howard Stern did a 180 and turned on the people that gave him his platform. He stopped doing outrageous sex content and dirty jokes and racial jokes and goofball social commentary, and tried to curate his persona into a more refined. Let's put it this way: Howard Stern, I've always felt, is an exceptional interviewer. What's up, Jason? How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. So buttons. So instead of being on Twitter, so Richard C. Meyer is doing the Howard Stern thing. He's the things that we've heard about his health problems that I'm not going to identify because it's hearsay and second and third hand information, and I'm not going to be guilty of disinformation, or slander. Libel is in print. Slander is in video and in speech. I don't want anything to do with that. It's like he'll resort to lawfare, and it's just like, dude, I'm just a fucking cook. What do I know? What do I care? But I've been a big fan of his for a few years now, because I watch Jack's show. I watch Ethan Van Sciver. That's like, quote unquote my side of the aisle in a way. But Richard has done this Howard Stern thing. He's turning on his traditional fan base. Now there's always like 30 or 40 people out there talking about his how good of a job he's doing, of course, because shit, he's got fans. He has about 90,000 subscribers, and that's about it. So this is Richard's big thing now is making posts and a few videos about Wes, making fun of Wes's thumbnails, saying calling Wes a tourist, and Wes got into comics relatively later in life, and it's just how it happens too. It's like, how many comics that I've lent out to people and never gotten back? Lots of them. And so if you got my shit, return it, please. Christ, I let my friend Scotty borrow my Walking Dead compendium, Volume 1, and the mother had a heart attack at work and died on me. I'm never getting that back. Oh, sheesh. Thank you, Scotty. The heat death of the universe will eventually consume us all. But they're going to keep making Batman and Superman movies every few years the next century. And fat old men will always predict their failure. So this is that's this tone. And but here is my comment. It's a good thing you blocked me, Richard, or I'd push back saying something harmful to your safe space here, such as calling you an egg again, or a fitting, clever referential nickname like Nags Formaggio. That's Italian for cheese. And you're a sad old man who nags, no? And in the heat death of the universe, does it actually matter? Have a good day, Richard. Richard has blocked me from commenting on his posts and videos. See this little heart thing down there? I got bunches and bunches and bunches of them from Richard over the years. You know what I mean? I'm one of his viewers, aren't I? Not? This is what he does to dissent. This is what he. And now it never came off as swearing or yelling or anything. Just more of Richard's leaning in, I'm pushing back, and that's all there is kind of to it. But wow, you can't handle that much heat. Seriously, and I'm not even hateful. Wow. But there's a trans person named Megs Visaggio who used to write for the Big Two Comics. They kind of and they're really kind of a progressive, textbook kind of living out loud. One of these unlikable progressive people with their politics and. Just so. But Megs Visaggio is one of Richard's favorite targets to punch down on, and so I with all the nagging Richard does, I called him Nags, to sound like Megs, and then I workshopped the last name. Some people wanted to call him, my friend Aaron wanted to call him Megs Lothario because apparently Richard's got a bunch of bastard children out there, and I'm like, that's none of my business. It's kind of that's good thing, hey, I don't have any kids. I'd love to have a few bastard kids. At least I know that my genetic destiny isn't just going to, the heat death of the universe. But that's Richard for you. I mean, he's thin-skinned and he can't take being pushed back on. And that's a quality on him, And but yeah, we were talking about Peacemaker, the Peacemaker show, and James Gunn on Wes's Think Critical this weekend, and that's what we do. We talk about comics. We talk about pop culture. It's a conversation. You could always not watch. You could always make your own content, being like, hey, this stuff's pretty good. I got proof. I like this, I like that. It's the same. And it's funny too. Richard keeps busting on Wes for, you're just doing 2018 talking points again. That's an affectation of his speech. He speaks with the effeminate, distended S, the stereotypical gay lisp. Apparently, whomever he likes is none of my business. Heck, I have a hard time enough getting people to like me. More power to you, kid. All right, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna just blurt it out. Damned being clipped or all this stuff. But you know who's negative about Big Two comics? Because Richard's big thing is like, comics are good again. Oh, Janet from another planet. I am blessed with beauty and sunshine on this morning. How you doing, girl? Good to see you, you beautiful woman. Wow, she's a knockout, and she's nerdy. Cheers to you, girl. You want to have a cup of coffee together? Mm-hmm. To have a cup of coffee with a beautiful woman first thing in the morning. It's a wonderful thing. You're welcome. It's true. And but yeah, okay. So when it comes to Richard, he likes to, he comes on Tom Pratt, aka Neon of Clownfish TV, and my friend Wes of Thinking Critical for like 2018 talking points. And comics are good again because I like a few comic books. It's like, yeah, but just because there are a few good comic books doesn't mean that I like you said, I read 23 Marvel books just this week. A lot of them were terrible, and they're the same terrible and ongoing terrible. And it's like, so this is what's flooding the local comic book shop bookshelves with unsellable merchandise, which is hogging the marketplace, which is, it's a lot. Thank you. I love my comic book rack too. It was a great investment. It's and it's filled with comics that I grew up with, like 70s and 80s stuff specifically, like lots of old X-Men, and it's really fun. Thank you. So I want to say this, and I'm going to say it out loud. But who's filled with 2018 talking points and vitriol for the Big Two comic books and mainstream comics? Richard, your friend and my friend, Ethan Van Sciver. But you lack the sack to do this to him. Seriously, you would never go after Ethan the way you go after Wes or Neon or even and Eric July too. It's like, just like, I get the heat that Eric July gets. Sure. I have literally no opinion of Eric July. Actually, part of my stack, I got my first Rip Ascend purchase, and I haven't even opened it up yet. Good morning, James. How are you? Good to see you. There's some good stuff out there. There is good stuff out there. I'm telling you, like, Incredible Hulk is wonderful. It's Amazing Spider-Man's gotten a lot better. Superman. It's the Superman comic book. A Superman funny book. I've got every issue in almost the past 3 years because it's that good. Yeah. But I mean, I just can't help but notice. But who else has 2018 talking points? Well, our friend Ethan Van Sciver, he does. Who has hate in his heart for mainstream comics? Ethan Van Sciver. He does. And it's like, but Richard would never go after him. It's too big of a target, or they're too good friends. Well, friendship doesn't matter to Richard. He'll turn on you like raw chicken left out in the sunlight. He will. and so that's my 2 cents on being blocked by your boy Zach on his from commenting. Isn't that cute? I think that's wicked cute. Wicked cute. What else do we got today? I got something I'm gonna film later for my Street Smarts for the Single Soul. If you're single, you know what I mean. You should subscribe to my channel and let people know that, incels, femcells, MGTOWs unite. People going their own way, and some, maybe it's necessary because I found peace, but also there's a whole playlist for that, and I'm gonna be putting out a video tomorrow. And look for it. It's about blue nail polish and how it's pretty much yeah. I got a theory. I call it my blue nail polish theory. It's about modern women. I know, huh? So look for that. So let's get into it. Let's talk about comic books. I read 22 comics this week, 23 Marvel comics this week, a couple of DC comics, Dark Horse, an Image, an IDW thrown in for good measure, Avengers for 29, a Jed McKay and Farhad Karami. This is a terrible cover. Because that's the Mark 72 Mysterium armor. And Tony no longer wears that. I mean, we're in between armors right now. Jed McKay's got 5 more issues until the big ass Avengers number 800. Because you see that mark, you see up here in the upper left hand corner, it says issue 29. Well, that's just the current volume of the Avengers, which might be volume 6, I believe. I'm not sure. But it contains a legacy number too for old people like us, so it's technically issue number 795. And oh man, this is Kafu. He's one of those exports for cheap labor. But Farid Karami is doing the line art, and he's really good. And it's good to see Carol and Tony getting along, especially after the events of Civil War II. Oh boy. It's okay. It's a good issue. It's decent. I didn't buy it. The bad guy here, bring on the bad guys, Dormammu. Hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. Oof. I think I'm just gonna skip on over to my bag of comics and wrap it up. I'm not, like I said, I'm still not feeling very well, but and then I got plans later too. I mean, Labor Day barbecue, and at least I know I'm not gonna drink. What's in the bag? I bought a bunch of comics from my local comic book shop this week. I didn't go last week because there were only 2 new releases, and which would have been $8, going out of my way for $8 with the comics. But it was G.I. Joe number 10. This is the B cover. I will always get a cover with with Baroness and New Gods number 9 of 12. This is wrapping up soon. And, I thank you. That's my plan. A lot of it has to do with just making the conscious choice. Hey, you might not be able to drink anymore. And that's life, Speaking of Ripascend, this is the first Ripascend book I've ever got. I'm a sucker for Ivan Strakovsky's work, so this is Rainey's foil variant cover, and this is Yellow Flashes, the Mighty Golden Patriot. Much ballyhooed. If you're in these independent comic book YouTube spheres, you know all about the civil cultural war, about schisms, about tribalism, about ganging up on people in this one and that one and the other thing. Here it is. It's got a perfect binding. It's got an indicia. Indicia is the fine print. There you go. Yellow Flash is the writer. John Dillard's the artist. Invisible Art Studio is the literature is the lead editor. Caro Brown the editor, and a lot of editors. Jen and Sylvia Sosker is the editor. Okay, I met the Soskers. They were bubbly. And it's set in World War II. And it's got this kind of Power Rangers kind of look to it. You can tell this flyboy gets around. He shot down 4 Yahtzees and 3 meatballs. Those are 2 separate theaters before. I'm not bagging on anyone for stuff or anything. And it's just, it's a comic book. I haven't read it yet. It's my first time I opened her up. Sorry. What else did we get this week? Funnybooks. All right. 20 of 24. Ultimate Spider-Man. This is wrapping up at issue 24. This is another issue of nothing happening. It's Harry and Gwen. And they're having Peter and MJ over for supper. Look. Behold. This is your Spider-Man comic book. Again. Where's Spider-Man? Where's Spider-Man? Look at this. Hey, it's a Jim Shooter memorial page. Where's Spider Action? Where's Spider-Man? Now we have Richard, MJ, and Peter's oldest kid talking to Uncle Ben. This is an alternate universe. Different things have happened. Hey, look, another 9-panel grid. Another 9-panel grid. People talking. People talking faces. And now when we say stuff about this is where Richard Meyer comes in and just says, "Oh no, you see, people are just saying you're being meansies again. To the good comics are good again because I like a few comics." See, once again, another 9-panel grid. Look, another 9-panel grid, and they're just talking and they're talking and they're talking, and then the only action comes from MJ hitting Gwen, of whom Gwen has actually got superpowers. And so this is a little kind of like unbelievably. And here we go. Only one more page left. What's going on? Will we see Spider-Man? Will we see Spider-Man? Is Spider-Man in his own comic book? No. Another issue of Ultimate Spider-Man that has no action, that has no appearance of Peter in a Spider-Man suit doing Spider-Man things. This is bit of a disappointment. And this is a $4.99 issue. Okay, I've spent $100 on this story so far. That's $5. 20 issues, 5 times 2 is 10. Add another 0. That's $100 I spent on this, and this is going nowhere. Where is this going? This is going to Dennis Camp's Ultimate Endgame 1 through 5 issue mini. That's going to wrap up this volume of the Ultimate Universe, and I Ultimate Universe Volume 2. I should be preceding this with all new issues number 1. I feel kind of taken advantage of, and I fell for a publication trick, and that's what they do. I mean, that's why they have events, why they have crossovers, that's why they have variant covers. You know, oh no, you're being mean to the comics. Comics are goodsies again. You sad old man. Look at you, you aging hipster. You aging hipsters. You're so mean to the comics. Comics are good again. Your 2017 talking points. Come on, I mean, 100. I've spent. That's over just in the past 2 years. So I mean, that's just, yeah, whatever. I like this book. It's good in its own way. I get what Hickman's doing. He's trying to do the Sopranos of superhero comic books. I get it. Literally and figuratively. Speaking of Hulk, issue 28, and that is Legacy 809 of the Incredible Hulk. This will be wrapping up soon, and a new issue number 1 with the same creative battery of Philip Kennedy Johnson, with Nick Klein doing the majority of the art. This is a variant cover. And you can tell by the barcode here that this is the 02821. Well, this is the first 3 numbers of the issue numbers. The second number is the variant cover. If that was a 1, that would be the A cover. So this is the B cover. And the final number there is the printing. So this is the first printing of this is the B cover in issue 28. And these 5 additional numbers on the UPC code, the Universal Pricing whatever product code, that's exclusive to publishing in comics. So yeah, this is the J. Scott Campbell variant cover. It's really hot, really cool. We got from IDW, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rites of Spring, issue number 2, and this is a variant cover. This is the I love movie parody covers. So, let's once again, that's issue 2. This is the B cover, and it's the first printing. Hey yo, Waka Waka! It's the Beast from the East, ladies and gentlemen. James Harris, the Ginger Ninja. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And so that if you remember Richard Scarry books from childhood, he drew these really nice worlds of, you know, of like suburban life and trucks and cars and planes and buildings and life, but with all of these like anthropomorphic animals. And so this is like, you know, Patrick Horvath's version of it, but with a Dexter kind of spin. We have a serial killer in a small town, and it gets really graphic. I remember the Richard Scarry books. The gingerbread one, man, scared the crap out of me when I was a little one. Yeah, and this will scare the crap out of you even more. But yeah, so this is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, and it's really good. The first, I used to have trade paperback, was handy. Not too long ago. Where did it go? Maybe it's well, nobody sees shit. This was a recommendation from my bros at Thinking Criticals, Comics Aficionados, Ghost Pepper. This is from Image Comics. Because it has an angle of a food truck and of cooking, and I'm a professional chef. And they know I like that. So, I don't know. It's pretty decent. This is a second printing. Now let's see here on the UPC code. C001. That's the issue number. Then that fourth number, 1, so this is the A cover. And that 2, that final 2, right there, that means it's the second printing. That's cool. It went to a second printing. We have a double dose of Mark Millar this week. We have Huck, Big Bad World. It's the second Huck series. Not my favorite. It's kind of like Ultimate Spider-Man. There's a lot of talking going on. I'm not too happy with Raphael Albuquerque art as well. It's just like it looks like it was drawn on an iPad, where where you would have black inks. It just doesn't look like inks. It's negative spaces. It's I don't know. There's something to organic line in the pressure that the artist applies with their hand versus the totality of blacking out certain areas with pixels. I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm just, it just looks like, digital art. I mean, and I get it. Mark is in England. Raphael is in Brazil. The publisher, the office is in Portland, Oregon. The printer is in Canada. Everything gets easier and more convenient in the digital age, where you don't have to rely upon mail, sending by Federal Express, UPS, DHL, paper copies in the mail, and that kind of supply chain. But I think the proof of the pudding's on the plate as well. I can taste it. It's in my palate. We also have Nemesis Forever, the conclusion of Mark Millar's big bad guy Nemesis. This is an interesting book. It's a lot of setup. I've liked previous Nemesis books, and this, because it's a lot of setup. But knowing Mark, this is going to, I think it's 5 issues. It usually goes way over the top. And you're preaching to the choir. Yep. But this is destined to go over the top. See, this is basically, these are written for the trade, and then they're released in serial because that's the accepted medium and the format of the genre. But I don't know. I like Mark. I don't want to sound overly critical of him. He does a great job. And we'll finish it up with 2 DC comics. This is Jeremy Adams. He's also writing Aquaman and Green Lantern Corps. He's doing a little crossover with his own Green Lantern Corps. They called the Starbreaker Supremacy. And this is really, really good. And just amazing art by V. Ken Marion. And the colorist is just doing such a good job, too. He's doing the colors here. Romulo Fajardo Jr. is doing the colors on this. And he's got a cover credit, too, and rightfully so. And but I'm loving V. Ken Marion's action, his panel progressions, the faces. It's very cartoony. At the same time, it's just very lean, and I'm very happy with this. Look at this big ass double page spread. Boom. Superman. This is issue 29 of Superman by Joshua Williamson. The art by Dan Mora. Look at this cover. What a great cover. And this is the Dark Side Legion. This has been hinted at in the all-in special from last year for Free Comic Book Day. The reason of the new Absolute Universe is that Darkseid charged himself up with power, and Darkseid and the New Gods are all about death and rebirth. That's, a god's fictional, mythological character arc. If you look at the Thor movies, Thor's, that's his thing. It's about death and rebirth. So Darkseid was killed and was reborn as the Absolute Universe. So that universe is made out of Darkseid, and hence why it's a darker place. So there is a legion of the superheroes that has been corrupted by Darkseid, and this is just such a good book, and it brings in one of my all-time favorite characters in the past 20 years or so, Superboy Prime, who, like Deadpool over at Marvel, has this wink and nudge to the fourth wall and knows that he's in a comic book. And it's pretty fun. And he's like super overpowered and snarky, but then we bring in versions of different legions who have teamed up to try to stave off the Darkseid Legion and have lost pitifully. And this is really good. I mean, this has been one of my favorite ongoing series for just under 3 years now. We've got every issue. Yeah, I'm very happy with this book. I really am. And I've grown up such a Batman reader, but the older I get, the more I am happier as a Superman fan. Because, I like the aspirational. And I like I like the Boy Scout mentality. I like his compassion. And I like, see, Batman's fine, but it's about settling problems with violence, and it's about, it's about a lot of things that I've outgrown. Like Batman's really cool to a young person, but I think that Superman is cooler to the older fan. I don't know. I still love Batman, trust me. But it surprises myself that, geez, you're just, I'm more of a Superman fan now. Well, I'm going to wrap it up because, I got to go back to bed, and then I'm going to have to go hang out and enjoy this day off with family and friends because I'm blessed and grateful. And I'm going to take it easy. I want to, just save some energy for that because I have to come home and just get ready for work. I work at a major Boston area university, and so first day of classes is Wednesday, and so it goes. Yeah, thank you so much. And this is why I didn't do a show yesterday, because if I don't have it today, I definitely did not have it yesterday, and I'm very grateful and blessed for all of you that tune in, and so thank you so very much. Tune in next week. We'll definitely have a better show. I know. I'm sorry. I don't like to fake it. I don't want to do a half-ass show. It's very important for me to you show up and you got to do the thing, and have some pep in your step. You don't want to see a lump on a bump, and you don't want to see people just nagging either. Geez. So my friend, he's not my friend. That's exactly what I'll say, Richard Meyer. I'm not your buddy. I'm not your friend. I don't know you. Who are you? So what? I know. Yeah. I've only been commenting on your videos for 4 years and tuning in. Yeah. I fell off the apple cart and I'm just trying to punch back at you or something. No. pushing back on being leaned into, because I am part of that channel. I am part of that culture. And it's just, but if you can't take, you can't take what you give. Even my benign, I call them ticklish comments, because I'm not even being mean. I'm not swearing. And I'm just like, I just identify as you're being a nag. You're nagging. And geez, I mean, if someone said, I don't think there's very few people that I've blocked their comments on my YouTube shit. I think there are two. They deserved it because it got caustic and rude and harassing. And I was like, fuck you. But I hear that's Richard's style, though. And in the end, does it matter? Really? Oh boy. One of the biggest bullies of the internet has blocked me because I was sticking up for my channel and my team. That is more about Richard than it does about me. But I continue to leave comment tab, and you look under, like, flagged comments. He's probably got shitloads of them. But still, have a great day. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you next Sunday with more energy, more comic books, more things to talk about. All right? Have a great day. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will talk to you later. Awesome. For Pikachu and myself here at the show. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.